From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Alaska State Troopers yesterday made an arrest in connection with the death of a reality show star.
44-year-old Mayor Workman was taken into custody on charges of first-degree murder in the killing of James Jimmy Gatos. Gatos was shot to death at his home on the Old Elliott Highway on May 4th. Charging documents against Workman were filed May 21st and a grand jury indicted him Wednesday. He was taken into custody yesterday without incident and arraigned today. Gatos was on the show Ultimate Survival on the National Geographic Channel.
The University Fire Department and the State Division of Forestry responded to reports of a large outdoor fire this afternoon. The incident occurred off of College Road near the Tanana Valley Fairgrounds. A cloud of white smoke was visible across town as fire personnel arrived on scene. First responders had to access the affected area through a series of trails. The fire started on a grassy plain and spread into trees and brush. Those fighting the blaze used helicopters to keep the flames at bay. University Fire Battalion Chief Jim Stiers says units are working to prevent any spread into dense forest areas.
As you can see, there was a big grassy area. It got over into some hardwoods there, and that's really what the main concern right now is to keep it out of getting into the woods. They got a helicopter that's dropping water over in the area. We got crews working in the area. The winds are blowing pretty good right now out of the southwest, so it's not helping us, but that's the area that we're working to make sure that the winds aren't going to push it any further.
Today saw the last in a series of meetings held at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. Since Wednesday, the UA Board of Regents has conducted sessions on budget appropriations and distribution plans. During the last legislative session, the state approved a financing plan for the new UAF heat and power plant. The board moved to approve about $157 million in revenue bonds to cover the cost of a facility the board deems necessary. UA Student Body President Stacy Lucasen says the board remains proactive and is open to having students and the community provide feedback.
For communication, to let students know that they are accessible, that we can send them an email or call them if we have questions, and that they're people who really do care about the future of this university and who are trying to make it work while we're sitting and waiting for the legislature to decide really what they're going to do with us.
Bringing natural gas to interior Alaska has been discussed since 1954, according to Alaska Governor Bill Walker. The Interior Energy Project seeks to provide gas to interior residents at a rate of $15 per MCF. Now today, the Interior Gas Utility, which will play a large role in that project, celebrated a milestone. More now in this report from Jamie Schwartzwald.
While crews trenched in distribution line through North Pole subdivisions, Governor Bill Walker, Senator John Coghill, and City Mayor Bryce Ward joined ADA and IGU officials at a groundbreaking / hat-tipping ceremony today.
Our journey has begun. Raise a hat for a better future with affordable energy to as many people as possible as soon as possible.
Over 7,000 feet of pipe has been laid. 70 miles of pipe is expected to be buried in the North Pole area this summer as part of phase 1 of the 6-phase distribution line build-out. Senator Coghill says the project wasn't always an easy sell in Juneau.
We have to convince a lot of other Alaskans that this is a priority.
Governor Walker is convinced. He campaigned on a declaration of disaster on the interior's high cost of energy. Though this project was seeded by the previous administration, Walker declared today just the beginning.
This is only a start. I mean, we are not going to rest until we have, our commitment is to 100% lower cost energy and significant lower cost energy in the interior. And we're not going to stop working until we make that accomplished.
So where is the gas? There was to be a signing of House Bill 105 accompanying today's ceremony. While that legislation has cleared both chambers, the bill is not yet ready for the governor's signature. HB 105 allows ADA to use funds in the $330 million Interior Energy Project financing package to get natural gas to the interior from anywhere, not just the North Slope.
We need to be able to have the flexibility to bring gas from the North Slope south, from the south north, propane from the north to south. There's all sorts of things, and this is integral part of that.
We've got to get this energy to this area, both for the air and for the cost of energy. We got to buy the gas. We got to get it somewhere. We want it off the North Slope if it's cheaper, or off South Central if it's cheaper.
And when we come back, local artists show off their art pieces at First Friday.
All right. Also, city residents will be seeing major changes to Cushman Street as a reconstruction project begins. Those stories are next. Stay with us. And welcome back. City residents will be seeing some major changes to Cushman Street from Gaffney to First Avenue beginning in the next 2 weeks or so. A major construction project that has been planned for years will now become a reality. The complete renovation and repair will result in Cushman Street becoming one lane. Now, the construction will also include the replacement of utilities, the water mains, the steam mains, and the sewer mains. The project, which is scheduled to be completed by September, will reportedly result in a more efficient, safe operating roadway and at the same time enhance the beauty of the surroundings.
What we're doing is we're going to be reconfiguring the lane section. Currently Cushman's 3 lanes wide with sidewalks on both sides, but the sidewalks are fairly narrow, about 5 to 6 feet wide, and we'll be reducing Cushman Street from 3 lanes down to 2 to accommodate wider sidewalks to make pedestrians feel safer as they travel down Cushman Street, but also to provide room for things like planters and tree wells and new decorative street lighting, as well as some new downtown wayfinding signage pointing residents and visitors to the community to different downtown destinations.
Now, tomorrow night we'll continue with more news about the upgrading and construction of Cushman Street.
Local artists are showing off their latest creations during this month's First Friday celebration. Festivities are taking place this evening around town in Pioneer Park, the Morris Thompson Center, the Phillips Gallery, and several other venues. Many locations will also be hosting live musicians and other forms of entertainment. The Alaska House Art Gallery is featuring works by local artist Sarah Tabbert. An exhibit showcase carved and painted wood panels inspired by local landscapes. Alaska House Gallery owner Yolanda Fayesh says Tabbert's unique works are celebrated across the state.
Was a printmaker, carved wood for woodcuts and fell in love with the process of carving the wood and started making pieces that were wood panels that were carved wood, and then they became more painterly, if you would, so she started adding the paint and the color.
It's time once again for another installment of Gardening Tips. Tonight, what kind of bugs should you watch out for in the garden?
Hi, I'm Darcy Etcheverry here at the Plant Kingdom with the owner, Cindy Warbelow-Tack, and we're going to talk with you today about insects in your garden. So you may have seen an infestation of insects in your garden that you thought were causing problems, but more commonly our gardens are host to a wide array of beneficial insects and spiders. These beneficial insects and spiders can provide services for us gardeners, such as being predators for insect pests or pollinating our flowers that one day become the fruits. But how do you encourage beneficial insects in a greenhouse environment?
Well, in the greenhouse, we're basically a closed system, and we're providing a smorgasbord of plants. And because we bring in a lot of patented plants, we're shipping things in. There's not bugs, natural bugs outside, but we may bring some in with the plants we ship in. So the way we deal with it for about 10 years now, we've used totally beneficial insects for the control of our of any pests that we might have. And we use parasitic wasps and predatory wasps and predatory beetles and things like that, mites. And we ship them in. There's insectaries in various parts of the country. We ship them in, and we release bugs, or good bugs, every week, including ladybugs too. That's when you see, but all the others are a lot smaller, and you don't see them. So, yeah, and don't use any pesticides at all. We really believe in the beneficial insects.
We have a lot to share about insects in your garden, so we'll continue this discussion with Cindy next week on Gardening Tips.
Gardening Tips, brought to you by Fairbanks Stump Grinders and by Midnight Sun Family Medicine.
So I just wanted to say, Daryl, it's been a pleasure anchoring with you this week.
It's been great, yeah. And anytime Stephanie's away.
Yeah, I also wanted to say Stephanie looked gorgeous in her wedding dress last night.
She did.
It was a really beautiful wedding.
She didn't just get married, she got remarried.
Remarried, yes.
So,
vow renewal.
Okay. After the break, Joe Cook has highlights from today's state softball tournament games being played right here in Fairbanks.
He'll have the latest on the interior teams and more, including the play of the week. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Joe Cook here to get your weekend started right with the Friday Sportscast. History was made today in the first round of the ASAA First National Bank Softball State Tournament. The Hutchinson Hawks and Kodiak Bears, they met in the first round in the Small Schools Tournament. Hutchinson beat the Kodiak Bears earlier this season, and the Hawks would tame the Bears once again. It was a close 2-1 game in favor of Hutch until Kimmy Duffield brought in Riley Bodyfelt with an RBI. The Hawks scored on a pass ball and got another score after a Kodiak error. The Hawks go on to win this one 7-2 over Kodiak. They faced 2014 state runner-up Ketchikan in the next round. Today's victory was the first state tournament win for Hutchinson in program history, led by Duffield, the player of the game.
I felt really confident because I knew I had the defense behind me and I knew they could take anything that I was able to pitch, so yeah. I think we're gonna definitely have to hit a lot, make sure our bats make contact and just focus on that, and I think we'll be good.
In one of the large school state tournament early games in the first round, the West Valley Wolfpack went up against the West Anchorage Eagles. 6'2" sophomore Ashton Jesse got the Eagles off to a good start with a 2-run homer in the first inning to put West up 2-0. She finished 2 for 4 with 3 ribbies. That lead would extend to 4-0 in the second inning. West Valley couldn't get any offense going because they ran into Lauren Seraph, who had a sweet game. Seraph threw 10 strikeouts on their way to a complete game no-hitter. The Eagles continued to pile up runs with multiple base knocks and RBIs. West Anchorage wins big over West Valley, 13-0 in 4 innings.
I think the rise ball was working the best against them. Like you said, they were chasing the high pitch, and I think that was the pitch they were going after a lot. The curveball, they were hitting them on that a lot too.
I was just trying to be relaxed and get our runners around. I noticed we left a bunch of runners stranded throughout the season, so I was just making sure I got those runners home.
That's what's kind of been our Achilles heel all season long, is when we face a fast pitcher, we don't seem to catch up. And then it just, we struggle with that for whatever reason.
And down in Anchorage at the state baseball tournament, the Lathrop Malamutes faced the Wasilla Warriors in consolation this morning. Lathrop trailed 8-0 at one point before making it a 4-run game at the top of the fourth, scoring 5 runs, but they wouldn't get any closer as Wasilla ends Lathrop's season 17-7, the final. Colin King, he led the Mutes with 3 ribbies in the loss. The West Valley Wolfpack, they will play Chuyak tonight at 7 in the semifinals. More on that game coming up at 11. With the NFL season not too far away, you can get a taste of football next Friday. The West Valley High School football team will be hosting a football camp. It's next weekend, June 12th through the 14th, and it's $150. The Wolfpack football program, in conjunction with the Allison Ravens and Mayville State University, a NAIA program in North Dakota, will be putting together the 2015 Interior Alaska football camp. That's June 12th through 14th at West Valley High School. And if you're looking for some local sporting events to watch or participate in, here's a rundown of what's going on this weekend. Saturday at 10 o'clock is the first annual Alaskan Affiliate Cup CrossFit competition. That's at the Carlson Center. It's free and open to the public. Over at Lathrop High School, the Alyeska Track and Field Games, they get started at 10 o'clock. Also at 10 a.m. on Saturday is the 5-1 Cavalry 5K Run. That's on Fort Wainwright at the Ladd Army Airfield. Registration is at 8 a.m. Then you have the state softball tournament at the South Davis Complex. The state final for small schools is at 2 o'clock, and the large schools final is at 2:30. Then on Sunday at 10 a.m. is the 7th annual Run Lulu Run. That's a 5K and 10K run at Lulu's Bread and Bagels on Old Chena Spur Road. And now we have the play of the week. After your votes were counted, the play of the week comes from 2 athletes making big plays for their teams. It's a tie. Grant Olson of Monroe and Charles Sutter of West Valley tied for the play of the week. Grant Olson, he hit his first career grand slam and first home run of the year for Monroe in a 14-8 win over Delta Junction in the first round of the MAC baseball tournament last Tuesday. The other play of the week comes from Alaska's fastest man and Charles Sutter of West Valley, who repeats as a 100-meter dash champion, finishing in 10.91 seconds in Saturday's state track and field championships. He was a fraction of a second from tying the state record. He was also part of the record-setting 4x1 relay, won the 4x2 relay, and the 200 meters. To pick the next play of the week, watch the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays on Mondays during the weekend recap. And that's it for Sports at 6, but come back tonight for the Sports Nightcap at 11 with more softball state tournament highlights. Mike Schultz is up next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fbx Evening News for a Friday night. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather, and we are talking about some really strong winds blowing out there right now. Of course, we saw today we had a fire, so be very careful with any kind of blowing or any kind of burning embers or anything else you're doing with fire, because these winds are really causing lots of problems with all the dust and everything else. Now, our photograph for tonight, double rainbows captured by William Blizzard near the Chena Hot Springs Road area. As you can see here, a very nice display there with the first one down there and the second one up there. And again, as always, if you have a photograph, well, please share it with us at photos@ktvf11.com. Your numbers, we're going to talk first about satellite and radar, and we'll show you that you're looking at moisture coming out of the south once again, being blocked out by the Alaska Range, because when it comes out of the south, that's what happens. So we're not getting a whole lot of showers around the Fairbanks area. Those are diminishing rapidly as we speak, but we are getting a lot of wind, as we said earlier. What else is going on across the rest of the state? Well, it's cloudy skies around the Ketchikan area, some showers around Juneau. Kodiak looking at 51 degrees and showers there. Around the Anchorage Bowl, some showers at 55. Cold Bay a little cooler, 44 degrees and cloudy skies up and down the west coast. Looking at anywhere from clear to partly cloudy skies, depending where you're looking at. Only 39 degrees for the high today in Nome. 30 degrees at Barrow, 2 degrees below freezing, and 55 degrees at Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather, here's what it looks like. And we're talking about some very warm temperatures again, 90 degrees at Las Vegas and Phoenix, and not too bad in Seattle, 80 degrees there. Showers and thunderstorms around the Minneapolis area, spreading on down to the south. Some of those are reaching severe levels. We have lots of nice weather over the northeast. Temperatures right around 75 in Washington, D.C. and Miami, Florida, showers and thunderstorms, and Miami checking in with 87 degrees. On the satellite and radar, you can see all these afternoon showers and thunderstorms developing once again off the slopes of the Rockies. An area of low pressure sitting right about here, spinning around pretty good. Now, as this thing transitions to the east, it's going to cause more severe weather to break out, and in fact it's going to be very strong. But we're talking once again today to remind you about Hurricane Blanca that is moving rapidly to the north and expected to be near Cabo San Lucas by Sunday and Monday, with flooding, rain, dangerous seas, and locally damaging winds. So you folks that have timeshares in that area, you might want to keep an eye out for that. As far as the overall picture for the lower 48, for early next week, the jet stream will be way up to the north. That allows all the warm air to come up over the entire lower 48 and just have some afternoon showers and thunderstorms, very scattered, nothing really strong or severe expected. Well, back to, first of all, we're going to take a look at the forecast, I guess. First, we're jumping around tonight. The forecast for tonight, 45, partly cloudy with widely scattered showers. And tomorrow's forecast, little change from today, scattered showers, 65 degrees. And we'll go to the 5-day. Why not? Okay. The overall picture, once again, talking about low 70s by Wednesday and Thursday, 70 degrees by Tuesday. And for Sunday and Monday, looking at temperatures near 70 degrees. What is lying ahead? How about the forecast for Alaska? Why not? Scattered rain and snow showers for Barrow, sunny skies for Nome, and also scattered showers for thunderstorms for the Fort Yukon area. Over the interior, we're looking at very nice weather, isolated thunderstorms for Fairbanks, showers for Healy, and those gusty winds will also be in the Delta Junction area, 40 miles an hour, right on through tomorrow night, it looks like. Elsewhere over southeast Alaska, wind and rain for Juneau, rain for Ketchikan, and we're looking at, once again, some showers over the Ketchikan area. As far as the southwest is concerned, you see here partly cloudy skies for Cold Bay, and then also off and on showers predicted for the Kodiak region, and maybe around the Bethel area also. And over the south central sections, if you're heading on down to the Anchorage Bowl, we're looking at wind and showers for Anchorage, rain for Valdez, and showers expected for Homer. So a kind of a wet forecast for the weekend there.
Right. Yeah, all right. I just popped my head outside, and it's the gusty wind is really
it's
kicking
blowing
up right
really
now.
good. That's just it. It's really a fire danger now, because we saw earlier today that we had fire around. So any kind of fire gets going, it's going to really take off. So we got to remind folks to be very careful this evening.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And it's time once again to announce the winner in our Stan Stevens Getaway Contest. Now, this week's winner is Greg Hendry. All right. Good job. Congratulations, Greg. Our staff will be contacting you, and that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, the fight for medical marijuana for epileptic children continues. More on that with Lester Holt.
Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the Interior's only weekend newscast at 6 and 11.
That's right. And from all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Night.